Hello and welcome to the second anniversary of Sim Broadcasts. This is our third year, I guess, now essentially, and we are broadcasting tonight's Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large Round 2 of 2022 at South City Long in the Acosta Starlin mod made by Flame CZE, or some of you might know him as Martin Capel. I'm Peter Butcher, and I'm joined in the commentary box tonight with the regular XL crew for 2022. It is Eoin, Harmon and Miika Särkkinen. Welcome along, boys.
Good evening on this Tuesday. I suppose get the puns out of the way.
Yeah, puns done. Right, we can move on. Miika, how are you?
I'm okay.
Ready for
Been
another
waiting
one?
for this for a good while now. Excited.
The 62nd edition of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. That number keeps climbing and climbing, as we say, week in, week out. We are at South City Long in the Acosta Starlin, which we're going to take a look at in just a moment's time. There are the 12 rounds that are scheduled for RTFR XL in 2022. And we are on round 2 this evening in February. Let's take a look at the track. All familiar with the London Borough South City track in Live for Speed. 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles, and we have an hour of qualifying, which is about to finish. We have just under 8 minutes to go. Then we'll have a 43 lap race with a mandatory 10-second pit stop at 10 past 7, as per usual. That's all good. Let's take a look at the car. This is an unknown. This is an unknown to everybody in the commentary box, I think, but not an unknown in terms of the car that it's based on, of course. The Acosta Starlin by Flame CZE, based on the Lancia Stratos, of course, a 2.4-litre V6 rear-wheel drive car with 880 kilograms and 286 brake horsepower. Eoin, Miika, what do we think? Is this going to be a good one?
From what I've been paying attention in qualifying, I think it's an extremely difficult car to drive. It's mainly designed for off-roading and that sort of thing, but having all these bumpy streets, it makes it very unsettled and it could spice up the order.
Yeah, so using a rally car, Miika, probably more suited to your finish ways. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I have to agree with Owen there. I took a couple of laps around this circuit and it was a nightmare to drive. I liked it a lot, but it's very hard. And I saw a lot of people complaining as well that it's just too hard to drive. So some people are actually skipping the race because of that. So I'm looking forward to exciting race out here.
Oh no, a difficult car. What will we do? Well, we saw a couple of weeks. Oh, was it last week? Yes, it was last week during RTFR regular. We had the VKI 6 mod, which was fantastic. So if this is the other side of the coin, then perhaps this car is better suited to rallycross. But we don't know. We're going to have an hour or so of racing today to uncover whether this car can work around the streets of South City. Let's take a look quickly at the Drivers' Championships for RTFR. Of course, no Teams Championship this year. It is Upsas for Born to Race who leads the way with 35 points ahead of Rick Cardle, last year's double champion. Then it's Fatal for Fragmasters in P3, Yes Motorsports for Tatus Lagutskas in P4, Owner P5, Twin Cam and Ayub for Born to Race P6 and 7. Then we've got Mandula, Magic and Iron Donny rounding out the top 10. The two race green drivers there solidly inside the top 10. Spurts for Aerotac, he did a great thing last round. He provided a lot of excitement for us. He is P11. Asker, Pekka Koivunen, the two WCL cars there, the highest placed WCL cars in the championship so far, P12 and 13. Lorenzo for Race Green, Luke for Road Appraiser, Thamuli for ZFRL, Simjintas, 3Jump Strutter and Michael Malik for Master Race Car round out the top 20. On our second page of championship standings, we have Jari Kitila, Rony himself, 136 miles per hour, Kozi, Motomikari, Timu Soini, Beppo, Sachs, Redbot, Torpedo, Gorkem, McVer, and Pit Lane Racer, the 32 drivers who finished and therefore scored points in last month's race. Eoin, let's go to qualifying and see what is going on with this car.
Yeah, let's. 27 names are on the board so far. Lagutskas will want to make amends for round 1. He is on pole, but Fatal, very impressive on the front row there for Fragmasters. Barely a tenth in it, really, very, very close. So we do have the class of the field there. Those two plus Unite, all in the 1 minute 45s, and the rest are just fighting for the scraps, I think.
Yeah, Miika, you said that some drivers were finding this car difficult to drive, but it does look like we have a spread of times to back up that fact. We've got 27 times on the board and a spread of 6 seconds just under, I think, splitting all of the cars currently on track. So, yeah, it looks like quite a lot of drivers are struggling to muscle this car around in the session.
Yeah, it is well quite a gap between like first and last, but I don't know. The like fastest guys there are going like absolute, I could I say mental. Like watching their speed, it's just from a whole another level. Even some like regular faces. I think I saw Joni Katila join for a moment, and even he was struggling a lot. He thought that this is too nightmare to drive. He wouldn't enjoy this at all.
Yeah, as we watch the Vital's Lagutska struggling to keep the car pointing in the right direction up the hill, miles away from the apex, but the car looks fantastic as it's sliding through the corners. So regardless of what happens today, regardless of how many finishes we have, this is going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, some people will probably thrive on this exceptional challenge, and they may be able to get far more points than they expect, but it's just a matter of how the cars handle the first corner in particular. It's so fast and just dips and rises so suddenly, and in this very small but powerful car could cause unexpected spins and people having to avoid contact and any which way.
Yeah, Vital's Lagutska's coming to the final corner now, and again, very wide of the apex, so potentially gearing up for a lap, but judging by the amount of times he was bouncing off the walls, I reckon this is an attacking lap. So let's see if he does improve on his pole time. I don't think he will. It didn't look like a particularly good lap. He's had an hour to set times, so he could be doing some race practice, but let's see anyway as he comes across the line. Yeah, it's no improvement. A 1:45.66 remains his best in the session. Here's Teemu Soini. Good to see some of the drivers have put some effort into putting a livery on this car. And as Teemu Soini actually abandons his lap, and we switch to Kig for Master Race Car down in 25th, trying to get into the 1 minute 49s with this lap. I do like the sound this car makes, Owen.
Yeah, it's a lovely grumble, and then it becomes a real roar when it gets going. Can reach 140 miles an hour on the straights. That's what I saw. One or two examples could be, my estimation could be wrong, but yeah, it sounds great. And on these streets, I think it really will shine.
We're going to find out. We have a minute left of qualifying, so we have drivers just about to cross start finish to start their final lap. Kig will make it across the line if he wants to set another. Whether he will remains to be seen. Fantastic looking car as it bounces over the bumps, as you alluded to earlier, over the bumps of South City. Across the start finish, can Kig improve with this effort? No, he can't, but he might be starting a lap. It looks like it is starting a lap, so we'll stay with him and see if he can improve. No, that's not going to be an improvement, is it?
Yeah, in the heat, if the rear tires get too hot, that's going to happen to a lot of drivers.
Absolutely. This is a long race. Don't forget, 43 laps of South City. South City is brutal at the best of times, let alone in a car that is struggling to go in a straight line by the looks of it, as Lorenzo tackles this car down into the hairpin. This is going to be an overshoot. Just about gets it slowed down. Fair play. Right-hander here into the downhill section, back onto the back straight of SO4. Great little set of corners this, and it's going to light up those rear tyres by the end of this race, Owen. They're going to be screaming.
Yeah, there is the mandatory pit stop, so I'd assume that a lot of drivers will be using that for actual service rather than using the clock as a means to time their refuels, for example. So, yeah, there could be actual strategy that involves tyre changes and refueling and everything in between.
Yeah, Lorenzo aborts the run, and we go back to Fatal here, who has a nice message for us on the side of his car, I've just noticed as it swings by. Happy birthday, Sim Broadcast. Of course, yes, today is our second anniversary as a team, bringing live stream content to you in Live for Speed. And yeah, we've enjoyed it. It's been fun. 2 years, I can't believe it's gone that quickly. Anyway, as Fatal wrestles the car through the downhill section once again, Pekka Koivunen will be our final car, Miika.
All right. Oh, he spectated, apparently. Yeah. So we're watching Fatal now. He's closing down the last corner. I wonder if he's gonna get any better time, any improvement here. It's gonna be a hard braking. Yeah, one thing about this car is that it's very hard, like, brake into the corner. Yeah, it locks up very easily, and Fatal even hits the wall there.
Well, it
He's
looks
the car
good.
around.
It looks good. Hopefully that car can be fixed before qualifying. But that is everybody. So let's get a rundown of the 28 cars then who decided to participate in what looks like it's going to be a very, very challenging round. Vitautas Lagutskas sets the pole time with a 1:45.66. We have him on the camera behind, actually. Then it's fatal for Fragmasters, only a couple of hundredths behind, actually, with a 1:45.72. Then we've got Unite, Upsas, Koiven, and Nova. Iron Donny, TJ, Asker, and Texas rounding out the top 10. Mandula, Thamuli, Lorenzo, Yoni Katilla, Twin Cam, Soini, Mazwe, Rony, Yari Katilla, and Michael Malik round out the top 20. Over on the second page of results, we have Mega 3-jump climbs, Tallenberg and Kig, Elias, Redbot, and Jaban. 28 cars. That is lower than expected, but yeah, as you said, Miika, challenging car. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah, not at all. I'm really looking forward to the race. I hope they can keep it like between the walls.
Absolutely, so do we. We're going to go for a short break, but we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so time, and we will bring you all the action for the 43-lap race around South City Long in this Acosta Starlin mod in Live for Speed. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Sim Broadcast's second year anniversary stream, Rony's Tuesday Fun Race 2022, round 2 at South City Long in the Acosta Starlin mod in Live for Speed. We've just had qualifying, 28 cars have qualified. Miika and Eoin are in the commentary box with me. Eoin, let's summarise quali. Difficult car, as Miika alluded to. Anything else?
No, I think drivers were able to stay apart. They were able to set their lap times as they wanted. It was just whether or not they were keeping the car tidy through the difficult corners. Particularly, actually, turn 14 is probably the one you don't usually mention because people are so familiar with it. But with this new mod, it could be really, really challenging, and not only for the braking point, but also the exit with the slidey rear tires.
Yeah, it's great to see that we've got modded content hitting our regular coverage. Miika, have you had much experience driving any of the mods that have come out in Live for Speed, and have any of them taken your fancy for racing? Have any of the cars that have come out been like, okay, yeah, I really want to race this?
Well, not particularly. I haven't got too much into the mod scene and so on, but those that I have tried are basically like on these races. But I've enjoyed like most of the mods so far because it brings like so much variety on the game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. A lot of variety, and hopefully we'll be seeing more and more throughout the year. Of course, the last 2 rounds then of RTFR and XL have both used mods, so that's pretty great. But let's see, we have 1 minute left to go before we have lights out for 43 laps around SO4, a very, very tight and twisty track, and tyres are going to play a massive part of this race. There is a 10-second mandatory pit stop that the drivers have to make. I wonder if any of them are going to elect to change off of the tyres that they've ruined as they get used to the car in race conditions. Eoin, it's a long time to change a set of tyres, but it could be worth it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the people who are qualified in the bottom half of the grid. They might think it's well worth changing tyres because the opportunities that will open up later on, if people are trying to go long, they will then be able to capitalize later down the line. So I would be very nervous if I'm a championship contender trying to figure out what to do. That can be so daunting, but the experience could obviously tell. You never know.
Yeah, we're using road supers, so heat peak, as Chris alludes to in our ear, will be an issue because the drivers are going to be reaching that heat peak and not really able to get out of it during a race of this distance. In the 2.4 litre V6 rear-wheel drive Lancia Stratos mod called the Acosta Starlin in Live for Speed. All right, the drivers are getting ready, and we are getting ready in the commentary box for a fantastic race. We have no idea what's going to happen down into turn 1. Neither do the drivers. I don't think any of them have done a race start with this car, and we've never watched one, so this is new territory for all of us. We can't wait. Modded content for the win, right? Alrighty. Yeah, still waiting. Hopefully Rony can get everybody into the race as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're just being requested to use the restart function, and there we go. Everyone is lined up, ready to play. And here we go. Happy birthday, SPTV, 2 birthdays.
Oh, goodness me.
Celebrated by Rony and the gang in a row. So nice stuff.
Alrighty. Thank you again, Rony. Here we go. 43 laps with the Acosta Starlin. Vitatis the Gutskas on the front row alongside Fatal, and they're away. What a good-looking grid. We said that last week. Oh, goodness me, that's a lot of noise coming down from those guys.
Charging down, there's no flat-out action here. They've got to lift.
Oh, car round in the back.
Car sent backwards there.
Yeah, that's Texas spinning round, and Twin Cam and Soini all getting collected. So nightmare to begin with here, as we have cars bundling down into turn 1, and Lagutskas being forced into a bit of a into the wall there nearly by Unite, and Unite there with Upsas trying to make the move. Upsas does make the move, in fact, as we head into the bus stop for the first time.
Yeah, Fatal will be distraught, losing 2 positions off the start. It could be even worse. Koivunen has him on the inside, heading up the hill for turns 8 and 9. So yeah, disaster for Fatal, I'm afraid. Yeah, there's the AR Nova mustn't have entered the race. He was just in the qualifying session. So yeah, big change up the front.
Absolutely, and as the cars plunge their way down into the their hairpin for the first time. Here's Fatal. He's being followed by Donny and TJ. TJ, they sort themselves out. TJ slots in front, in fact. And as we head onto the back straight, we've got Thimuli and Asker going side by side, almost into the wall there, and a queue forming behind them.
Yeah, this is a chance for ZFRL to get a big opportunity here. The Himuli's through on the tarmac, but the braking zone for the first time. This is really the one to pay attention to. And you can see Arska hugging the inside.
Oh, wow.
Off nicely. Contact in between with Lorenzo, but it's going to be a drag race to the line. So you can see the differing approaches to the final hairpin. And it looks like Arska's figured it out, hugging that inside apex. Look good.
Yeah, great run there from Lorenzo. He managed to get past one of them, and now he chases down the world-class Lions car ahead of him into turn one. We've lost Mazway, who's timed out. That's a shame. As who is that going sideways? Asker going very, very sideways, giving Lorenzo a bit of a sniff up the inside at turn one. Good stuff.
Miika, do you envy your teammate at all?
My heart is beating so hard. I'm so scared, for him. But it's like it seems so crazy going like too wide there on the narrow track. But it's been so clean so far. Like, of course, we had that big shunt on like at the very start of the race, but it seems like they are handling the car quite well so far throughout the race.
We ride on board with Vitalis Lagutskas as he heads down to the hairpin here. And it's a nice interior in this car, actually. I like the Live for Speed logo on the wheel, and the little headlamps you can see popped up there. Great stuff by Martin Kapal on this one. He is comfortably out in front. He has a second ahead of Upsas and Unite.
Yeah, and Fatal actually pulled off an ingenious move at the turn 11 hairpin. He was braking very late, and he managed to catch it, and he overtook TJ for position. So that's
Look at this.
Fifth. And now behind them, we've got Donny and Mandula side by side. Who's got the opportunity this go around? Again, you can just sense that understeer is so desperate if you go high. So Mandula is clean through.
Yeah, great on boards again from Chris. We've got Donny trying to pile the pressure on. Blue versus green. And we like to see it. Let's see as they come across start finish. Will Donny pull out the slipstream and go for a move? Of course he will. No, he won't. Okay.
It's
He'll think about
very
it.
hard going to the turn one. I guess he will go turn two if it's gonna happen. No, he's gonna yield out. And I understand that's quite a hard bit of track to go and try to overtake. The first corner is so bumpy. It's
Soini is the first car to blink, Miika. He's coming to the pit lane. Texas has been through as well, but Soini's come in to do something. I don't think he'll be doing any tyre changes, but anyway, he's coming to do some his pit stop. He's got a bit of damage to repair, we're hearing. So, yeah, perfect. 13-second pit stop. He's safe. Texas had 35 seconds of damage, and that's why he is currently in 21st and last. We've lost a lot of cars, actually, since the qualifying session.
Yeah, Twin Cam was on his roof, actually, so that was a surefire DNF. Soini now emerges. He's well clear of anyone else, so he can just concentrate on his racing. Donny has got the back end of the queue there. He's following for up to 4th place, so huge rag to riches stories can be written very soon. And a crash, and Michael out of the race. Tallenberg out of the race. How unfortunate.
Lap 3, and we lose 2 big hitters from Master Race Car. This is going to be a race of attrition, and we haven't seen many of those recently. That was sarcasm. As we head into the final hairpin of the lap and onto the home straight, Mandula wrestling with the car, trying to catch up to the guys ahead. He's dropped Donny a little bit. Donny's still there with all of his headlights on, looking great. It's a great little mod, this.
Yeah, it's a very unique kind of drive. Like, you expect the cars that you can get on ordinary LFS to have decent brakes, but this one, it just seems a lot different with the old school braking. You've got to really slow the car down before you do anything, and it's not going to really lock in quickly. We've got Fatal looking on the outside of Koivunen, trying the undercut on the railway. It's nearly open for him heading into turn 4, but again, you've got to make your decision and stick to it. Koivunen has now been tagged A lag
He spun,
contact
yeah.
and it's a spin.
Yeah, from that onboard, you'd think we had a sponsorship deal with Fragmasters or something. Anyway, as Lorenzo swings past and another world-class finance driver joins the fray, that's Aska trying to climb back up, but Pekka Koivunen there with a bit of an unlucky lag hit with Fatal drops down to P9 currently.
Yeah, that was a racing incident, I'm afraid. It was just the case where Koivunen had to stay where he was, but unfortunately the wall brought him too close to Fatal, and that cost him into the spin. Riding on board with the race leader Laguskas, his lead is down to half a second. Upsas clear of Unite now, so this will be a contest to see who can survive in this new mod.
Yeah, the Upsas doing a great job of staying in the camera shot from the rear view of the kind of shutters that you've got on the back of the Acosta Starlin. I don't know what the view's like out of the back of this car, but from the looks of the outboard shots, they can't see much out of the back.
Yeah, it's not so bad with the rear view mirror. I think it's accommodating the slots on the rear screen very well. But for actually looking backwards, yeah, that would be tricky. Let's focus now on Kig for a brief moment. But now Mandula and TJ are going side by side into turn 2. Unfortunately for TJ, he slid at the first corner, and it's given the track position to Mandula.
Yeah, and Donny behind as well. This is a three-way pack. And Upsas with the fastest lap. TJ going for the move. He's gone for the inside contact, same place as Pekka Koivunen. Mandula manages to keep ahead just for now. TJ's going to try and run it around the outside. He can't do that, surely. Nope. And Donny is he's having a sniff. I do like, however, that some of the drivers have elected to keep the rally lights on the front. Some haven't. So TJ, as you can see there, he hasn't got those lights on the front. Unfortunately, that won't be helping his aerodynamics any in Live for Speed.
No, but maybe the day to night cycle. It's a preemptive move to have these extra beams for the potential nighttime. It would look fantastic around South City.
It would, won't that be great, just to have random night races during RTFR? Hint, hint. All right. Jaban's crash, that's a story we don't hear often. He's backwards at the hairpin with a lot of other cars, a lot of other blue cars having trouble at the hairpin. Oh, that's a big recovery. He's had to do a lot of manoeuvring to get that car back going. Meanwhile, at the front, look at the gap between the top two now and Unite. 3 and a bit seconds. This is quite a domination so far from these two. But Upsas and Laguskas, they are similar pace at the moment, and it does look like Upsas has the pace advantage. He's staying with Laguskas quite well, and we might be seeing a move soon.
Yeah, there's barely anything to say between their tire temperatures. Pardon the interruption there, Miika.
No worries. I was just thinking if there's going to be any strategic thing that Upsas is thinking about, trying to go past with the pit stop or something.
Kig is out. He had a stop-go penalty for speeding, and with 40-odd laps remaining, he thought he couldn't be bothered and has left the race. So that's a shame for Master Race Car and Kig. A stop-go penalty, clearly too much to ask for him, as we have Donny and TJ battling on our timing towers into the bus stop once again, as they're both these drivers really struggling with this car and actually letting Mandula run away up front. So Mandula with some breathing space.
Happy days for Mandula, able to break clear. I think TJ will have to make his decision here to fend very soon. Yeah, very early braking point, and even the rear tires just yelping.
Yeah, a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, a bit of an early turn in there for TJ. He's got away with it though. This downhill section is really, really narrow when you're driving it fast, and it looks sketchy in this car. Donny tucks into the slipstream. TJ struggling with rear tyres. That's not going to hurt him much on the straights. It will, breaking down into the hairpin though. Miika, talk us through this.
Donny's all over TJ out here. I thought maybe people will be going on the careful strategy here, just running out the race and hoping people will crash out from before them, like we have seen a lot of crashes so far. But Donny seems like he's not the calm type. He's just going for it. He seems like he's having a little bit more pace than TJ, but I don't know why or how he's not getting any like real ways to go pass.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
TJ's driving this thing like a rally car into turn one there. You saw the amount of rubber he was leaving on the road. He's not going to have many rear tyres left by the end of the next few laps.
Yeah, seems like that. It's just maybe Donny needs to take some little lunge on inside some turn. Maybe he needs to be a little more aggressive, but I know he's trying. He's just going all over him. This is
Yeah,
very close racing out here.
look how far Mandula's managed to pull away. You can see him disappearing up the hill. This is how much TJ's holding up Donny now. And in the background, we've got this three-way pack with your teammate Miika Samuli going for a move up on the inside of Pekka Koivunen. Will Pekka Koivunen? Oh, they almost went three wide.
He lost against Lorenzo last time. I guess he's going to pay back now a little bit. He's getting past Koivunen at least. And I guess he's on the next car as well.
Yeah, more puffs of smoke as they head down into the hairpin. One of you two, called it as we did the build-up that there would be lots of lockups and difficult to slow the car down. Lorenzo's front tyres are really hot, so that's a bit different to what we're seeing elsewhere. So Lorenzo, brake bias issues potentially, and locking those fronts up. And we're only on lap 7. This is going to be difficult.
Yeah, the brakings are very hard for the front tires. It's very easy to lock up this car, especially on this track. It's so bumpy. It just slides on. It feels like it's never gonna stop, but it will eventually.
I wonder how hot and sweaty Martin Capal is now watching this, as he watches his mod get thrashed by 28 cars. Jari and Aska are having an inter-team battle here. Jari just got past Aska, so Aska had a dodgy hairpin by the looks of it, and might be under pressure from Climbs by the end of the straight. Climbs using one of the default liveries, the blue, that many of the drivers here today seem to be choosing to go for.
Yeah, I think iconic Stratos colors are blue, green, and red. So yeah, that's a very popular choice.
Look at the amount of smoke that came off of Aska's tyres. He's really in trouble now. He's going to get passed by
his rear right, Pete.
Climbs.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, all the drivers need to be very, very patient with this car, it seems, and try and nurse it a little bit. You know, it's a long race. It's not a sprint. It's definitely, one you have to kind of grow into. You can't throw everything at the car straight away. But this is just a drift session now for Aska. He hasn't done a single. Well, he hasn't had his wheels straight at all until now. There we go. Oh no, we're out again. More drifting. Well, it looks good. Here comes Rony.
Yeah, it's pleasant to watch, but for Aska, it's going to be a real thorn in the shoe, I suppose. And that's Rony just says, "Thank you very much."
Yeah, Aska's probably going to bin it here. Probably. Oh no, he's just about managed to collect it, but that car needs to go in the pit lane, get some fresh rubber, and continue. I think he's given up, frankly.
This could be puncture territory, Pete and Miika. This is very, very scary.
Yeah,
he's got to survive two very
he might get puncture if he gives on the drifting like that. But maybe he'll manage to the pits and nurse the new tires from there. We'll see.
Possibly, but let's face the front with drivers who have mastered this car almost. We won't say that just yet, even though I have, in case they do not finish. But anyway, at the moment it is Upsas, who is 0.4 of a second with the fastest lap behind Vitatas Lagutskas, and these two look really comfortable. They look like they're having a nice little race. 7 seconds back, Unite is in a bit of fresh air, and here we have TJ and Donny having another battle.
Yeah, nothing to call between these two. They're looking very, very strong for best of the rest territory. The push comes to shove, but they're keeping it respectful. That's what I like to see.
And Donny's still not past TJ. I wonder if he's hoping to get past soon and try to catch up Mandula, but apparently he has been past briefly, but TJ had claimed the place back, which is kind of an interesting turn.
Aska's been down the pit lane. He is currently leaving, so that makes it Texas and Soini. Aska has changed all of his tyres, as we expected, and he's back on the road. So, how many stops would that be? 4 stops to the end for Aska?
About that, yeah. If he can eke out a few more laps, then he could get it down to 3-stopper. But yeah, I think that's crucial information for the race leaders. They're comfortable at the minute, but knowing that a tire change will be 14 seconds up or down, I suppose, they'll know they can just make a tire change and be happy.
Yeah, I don't think tyre changes are going to be going through the leaders' minds at this pace. They're not having many troubles right now. Thamuli and Lorenzo side by side as they exit onto the home straight. And that is Pekka Koivunen getting into the mix. This could be gnarly as we head onto the home straight. Oh, that's nice.
I wonder if they're gonna go. Oh, they're spacing out. They seem too scared to go too wide into the first corner. Gonna be hard place here for Tehemoli to go. I wonder if he's going dive into the turn 2. He is going. It's gonna be a deep dive, and can he keep it in? Yes, he can. But Lorenzo is trying to come up from the other side again, but he can't keep up. That's a nice pass, to be honest.
Oh, and Koivunen got involved as well. Good pass again. So it could be the double for Koivunen. He's working his way back up. The Himuli defends the middle.
Was lurking the base here. And he's striking now that he has placed.
Yeah, I think Lorenzo is just letting off just a little bit, seeing what happens in front of him.
Well, it's a great little scrap in the midfield. Meanwhile, Dhoni's got TJ again at the hairpin, so we missed that one while those three were fighting. And it looks like Dhoni's got a bit of space to try and close down the 3-second gap that Mandula's managed to open while those two were scrapping. Here's Mandula in that bright green car heading down to the hairpin.
Yeah, and he's cutting in on the inside apex. It's good technique, just narrowly avoiding the outside wall, and then similar outcomes here for Dhoni. Now we have Jari Katila versus Zaban, and the opening of the inside line should encourage Zaban for a move. Oh, Yari's going to totally lock up and lose his line. So there you go, easy pass.
Yeah, easy pass in the end. Almost an unforced error there from Jari going into the braking zone. It looks seriously tricky. I'm going to have to give this a go and see just how tricky that is. As climbs, hits the wall, and hits the pit lane wall. Just a bit too much slide. Imagine that. Cars, even on that tiny little kink, are running wide and hitting the pit wall. That's how difficult this car is to control. It looks like Redbot is going for a move. Oh, no, sorry, not Redbot. That was Rony going for a move on climbs. Not quite. Koivunen versus Thamuli again. Miika, take it away.
Okay, Koivunen is going inside there. Oh, he's not. He's staying calm. He's waiting for the right place to go. But it is a tight battle here. I wonder if he's taking it to the hairpin after this downhill right here.
Oh, Koivunen's got a bad exit.
Sliding a little bit, yeah. That's unfortunate for him. Of course, I'm glad for my teammate here. He's doing a great job keeping the place, defending against these cars. What I've heard, he wasn't too happy about his pace on the qualifying, but it was decent enough.
This is a fantastic camera angle, watching Pekka Koivunen squirm around behind. It's a great little view, this. And he's not close enough to benefit from the slipstream down the back straight, but we know how close cars can bunch up as they do the braking here. Pekka is on the inside. I don't think he's going to seriously go for a move there, but
yeah, again, he's a bit too far. He can't go for a move here, but maybe for a track race. If he could get a slipstream here, that's a little slide out this corner again. I guess his rears are getting quite warm, so
yeah, you can see
hard to go away from.
Both squirming around. Pekka trying to find a way through. He might have a chance.
Maybe he'll do the same as the Hemoli did to Lorenzo a couple of laps back on the second turn here. Is he going for the inside?
Yes, I think he was spooked into going for the inside.
And he spins, unfortunately. Gladly he doesn't collect any of the other cars coming around. But that's unfortunate for him. Yeah, you can see how spread out the cars are because no one was able to catch up him, even though he's been like that.
Yeah, but soon there's going to be some lapping. The leaders are closing up on the rear of the field. 1 minute and 40 seconds is the spread currently. And Upsas and Lagutskas have definitely spread out. So I wonder whether it was just a few consistent laps from Lagutskas or a bit of a shocker maybe for Upsas. What we still know is that these two are still gapping Unite. Unite is now almost 10, or in fact, he is now 10 seconds back as he goes across the timing line.
Yeah, Unite will want to get a good result here. Round 1 didn't go his way. So Fatal, who, if you remember, started on the front row, will be also determined to gain back that podium spot wherever he can. So yeah, it seems like we've got the top 2, then the 3rd and 4th, and then the rest.
Yeah, Pete, you mentioned the very first cars catching out the last cars to be lapped. I wonder if that's going to make any difficulties, like trying to go with the blue flags.
Yeah, it absolutely will. It's South City, and we've got a car which doesn't like to go in a straight line or doesn't like to take corners nicely around South City today. So it's going to be difficult. Drivers will have to use their heads, get out of the way, slow down, give up some time to let the leaders through. As we continue to ride on board with Fatal, this is Santu Sarah for Fragmasters. He's looking at the rear of Unite's Sidus machine, and the nice purple that he's got on that. Tries to get it over to the apex, a better apex, but you can see what that does. It compromises the rear end. So a better apex doesn't necessarily mean faster, as Unite goes a bit deep, and these two are on top of each other, Owen.
That's right, Pete. Yeah, Unite actually tagged, Fatal tagged Unite there. Not too bad, but I think if he's going to launch an attack, it'll have to be on the start-finish straight. It's just too risky unless Unite breaks far too early. Yeah, even before 100 meters, they're hitting the brakes.
Rony and Yari are doing the same thing down into the hairpin. By the looks of it, oh goodness me, Rony almost losing the rear. This thing is seriously fun to watch. Let's keep an eye at the front though, because it looks like Fatal has done a number on Unite because he's coming to the pit lane. So Unite didn't want to get into a battle, and he has chosen this time to come into the pit lane.
Yeah, that's all good. Very early on the strategy, so we'll see what he decides to do.
Changing his setup. He's changing his setup, so he's made some tweaks. No fuel going in, so just some setup tweaks. 9.98 seconds. You'll have to come in again.
What is it with Unite and the pits?
He'll probably take the penalty with that, with it being that close, but he'll still have to overtake and stay ahead of this car, the Sim Broadcast birthday machine, by the looks of it, of Fragmaster's Fatal. Unite rejoins just ahead of the Muli and that little squabble that's going on, but I don't think Unite's going to be particularly phased because these three, or at least Lorenzo and Themuli now, are going to be tripping over each other again soon. 14 laps, and there's a long way to go in this race. We've seen the difficulties. We've got 18 cars remaining, and Yari is still battling with Rony in turn 3 past the secondary pit lane here at South City. Not used for much, no pit boxes in there.
Yeah, the bus stop, it's always a challenge. I think Rony and Yari have figured out what to do, so they took it nice and smooth that time. But out, actually, as they exit turn 9, that proves so difficult for these cars.
Yeah, Yari lifting just like on the look. He's lifting a lot to try and not put any extra energy through these tires, and braking very cautiously down into the hairpin. So this car is an absolute handful on hot tires. The drivers are lifting in places you wouldn't normally dream of lifting in any other car. This is reminiscent of the LX8 testing we did a while ago. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, those are some of the more temperamental cars. Yeah, even the raceabout, I know I've had tough times with that car, so this is probably times 10 the difficulty. Blue flags are out for Texas. the race leader approaches. So I think he should lift by the motorway. That would be the right time. Because he's obviously got Upsas to think about as well. So if he lifts now, Upsas will probably want some other part of the hairpin and he'd get in the way.
Yeah, this is the best place to meet a backmarker. So, Miika, this is the answer to your question, and probably in the best place for Lagutskas, unless Texas decides to hold him up onto the front straight. But let's see if Lagutskas can get past and then use this to his advantage. He's got almost 2 seconds now over Upsas. So, is Upsas beginning to struggle on tyres, or is Lagutskas just putting in some stellar laps right now?
No, Texas is doing some weird job here. You would think he'd pass,
There we go.
let him pass
Yeah.
on the straight, but he's still going to last corner. But that's a clean pass, to be honest. Yeah, that's the thing you kind of need to plan on, like the blue flag thing, quite early, because you want to have a specific place where you want to let the cars pass, so you gotta be prepared for it and try to fight your way that you will meet them right at the correct places. That's the most optimal way for you and for the leader cars.
Yeah, Texas moves out the way of Upsas as well, and that is our leaders through nicely. For now, we will have more backmarker traffic, I'm sure, later on, but that's it for now. Mandula currently occupying P4, and he's not too far off now, these back guys. He's got 15 seconds, but in this car, Fatal, well, if he can't manage those tyres to the end of the race, Mandula could start taking time away from him.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go, and there's good discussion in the chat about the suspension and tire pressures that have been possibly set up on each of the cars. So that's the pressure, or that's the dilemma. They don't want to get it too badly wrong on either end of the spectrum, but if you get it, too conservative as well, then you're not going to really find those gains. So yeah, Unite is working his way back up the orders. TJ is 3 seconds ahead of him, and we look at Lorenzo in P9, handy enough, and then Pekka Koivunen completes the top 10, also trying to make recovery of his race. Zaban in 11th, reasonably good there, and then Rony, another smooth drive for him. Jari Tilla has P13, hits the wall on our play-by-play, and then climbs, keeping his head down, but is 14th.
Yeah, I reckon Climbs is going to be catching up to Jari at this point, because Yari's dropped off the back of Rony, being very, very tentative on every single part of the track now is Jari Tiller, and this is going to be great for Climbs. Let's see what the gap is for Climbs at the next sector time. It's currently 5.3 across the timing line. I expect it's going to be quite significantly closer by the time he gets to the next one. Jari is struggling.
Pardon the interruption, but I just saw Teemu Soini, the way we give him the compliments for being so polite. He actually let Texas through while he let the race leaders through. So it's just one of those things for our Teemu. He's down a position, just letting the race leaders by.
4.8 seconds. So yeah, Jari is being caught by Climbs. Not quite as fast as I thought, but there we are. Climbs undoubtedly getting closer. Thamuli and TJ swap positions as TJ comes into the pit lane to retire. So TJ deciding enough's enough. Yeah. And that's him gone.
Yeah, he seemed to be having a good race, so I don't really know what's behind there. What's the reason behind he's going up, but maybe he's just had enough. Who knows?
Yeah, that's all he came for. He came to finish lap 16 and decided to bring it in the pit lane. He said it was an undrivable setup. Well, you're the one who put it on.
Yeah, I'd say if this car gets picked again, there will be definitely a different track. There's no way someone will nominate South City for this again until we get more running time with the car, as Fatal has put a lap on Teemu as well.
Well, famously, the drivers get to choose the next combination of track. So, who knows, Owen?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know there are plenty more mods to pick from, so I suppose the temptation for the race winner will be to pick something brand new again before we figure out what people really enjoy and what people find difficult.
Yeah, that was a sketchy turn one there for Fatal. He was dicing with the wall. Meanwhile, Mandula is dropping back. So Fatal doesn't seem to be struggling at all. It seems to be Mandula who's shifting backwards into the clutches of Donny. 4 seconds separating those guys. Unite's still in that bubble between Donny and Thamuli as he heads down to turn one now. This is definitely a corner, isn't it, in the Acosta Starlin? The turn that we usually see drivers taking flat out in just about any car. It seems to be an actual event in this car, so that's entertaining.
Yeah, and Arska's having tire troubles again. So if anyone
so he's coming up to his second pit stop. It is about
an
9 laps
undrivable
after.
set. This is undrivable set territory.
Oh goodness me!
TJ had trouble, then this is way beyond. So more drivers are going to put a blue flag on Arska's head here. So this is going to be pit stop number 2, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Arska is actually on a 4-stop strategy. That is remarkable as he heads up the back straight and up to the final corner. Probably he's going to end up in a look at the size of this car. It's almost like a dune buggy. This thing, the mudguards, the fenders are completely just bashed in. Look at it.
Yeah, the fat rear tires compared to the thin fronts. Yeah, that's a great observation. I was thinking hot rod, but yeah, dune buggy is perfect analogy. So Arska unfortunately has cooked that rear right tire again.
He's stretching his stint by a lap.
He's still going.
No, this is his rear right has that sort of like mud brown. It's mud brown territory in it, without stressing the tire out even more. That's going to be red. No matter
he's
what
pushing too hard, but it's quite entertaining to watch. He's gonna go take a nice wide line through turn number 2, and that car needs to come into the pit lane. He's already missed his strategy window. Can't believe I'm saying that. Anyway,
he's just having fun out there. It seems like someone actually gave him the drifting setup. But who knows? Maybe he's just trying too hard and then ending up drifting.
Yeah, so Upsas continue to plug away. There's no direct competition behind him, and Laguskas is 3 seconds in front. That's just the awful territory as a racing driver, that you can overpush trying to catch up to the race leader, and then with a giant mistake you'll lose all that work and you'll see other cars driving by as well. But Mandula is starting to make the progress as well, with Unite being the major one-stopper so far. Great performance here for Mandula, keeping it calm, and he can keep going for plenty more.
If Arska finishes this race having done 4 pit stops, that will be the most effort and the most stints in a sprint race or a short race that I've seen since the TC West Hill Fox race, where John M626 did about 7 pit stops. And that was in about 2009. So that's an effort from Arska. I hope he finishes.
Yeah, I hope so too. His teammate is actually shepherding him around the circuit. So at this
still
rate,
not going pits.
Yeah, I think there should be a Team Sony award for, most heroic but least risky driver out in the circuit.
Well, I mean, this is fair play. This is fair play. Timu's taking a super wide line. It's his teammate and everything. He's going to get lapped here. Is that Mandula, I think, in the background? Timu's gone. No. So it wasn't Arska that left. It was
times out.
Soini. So Arska's gaining positions. Goodness me.
So it's a +2 in a matter of seconds for the hobbling Arska.
Arska wasn't technically behind Soini. Soini just decided that was that.
It's not a +1, +1.
He has to move out the way, though, unfortunately, for Mandula. So Mandula sneaks through to lap Arska, who is fast becoming the most entertaining car on the track right now. But we should go back to serious faces for a moment, because Lagutskas is putting in a race here, 5 seconds almost ahead of Upsas, with the fastest lap still, and then Fatal 7 seconds behind. So there is a void opening at the front, 12 seconds from first to third.
Yeah, it's really opened up, and the entire front straight, there's barely any gap at all. Zarska, I think, finally... Oh, no, he's going to pop the tire very soon. yeah, so from Leguskas, we see him enter turn 1 now. There are only 3 other cars on the start-finish straight as he takes that first corner.
Upsas got a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane on his trip through just then, so that's a disaster for him as he pulls up into a box. And let's see how long his pit stop is. Hopefully it's within the rules.
Yes, 10.12 seconds. So Unite will be encouraged to see someone else having trouble when or on the upper half of the grid. So his day is far from done, but Upsas will be very frustrated. But at least he's got the freedom to go to the end now.
Well, he also has to make another trip down the pit lane,
true.
so that won't help him at all, and that will let Fatal. Well, Fatal can breathe a sigh of relief. He might get out slightly ahead of him, but we will see. Pekka Koivunen manages to get past Jaban in the final corner. Jaban in the blue car just behind. Shot there as they come across the lap to start lap 21. We're not even halfway through here, and Asker is on the brink of making a second pit stop. Someone in the wall up here.
It is Asker in the wall.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
There he is. I heard a thud.
Yeah, his rear left is getting into the Coco Brown territory now. So if the rear right pops, then that rear left is going to be sacrificed as well.
Yeah, there's no stewarding or anything in Rony Tuesday Fun Race, but at some point you have to step in and say this car is being a little bit unsafe and should come in to serve a pit stop. So if you're listening, Asker, can we get a fresh set of tyres and resume the race? As we see the Gutskas come across the start finish to start lap 22. That means we are into halfway territory. He's putting in a good race here. And Unite, not Unite, Upsas has yet to serve his drive-through. I wonder when he's going to do that.
Yeah, 22's in the chat, everybody. Upsas will take the penalty straight away.
Jaban has left the race. We're down to 14 runners. Not sure what happened to him. He got passed by, was it Rony? Yes, it was. As Mandula now takes up P3. So Mandula moves up into a podium position. He's sneaky, isn't he, Mandula? He creeps up on these podium positions. Upsas has now driven through the pit lane, completed his penalty, and resumes in P number 5 at the moment. But will he be under threat from Unite? He could be here. This could be close between Upsas and Unite. Yes, it is. Upsas just ahead. Yeah,
that's definitely the hot battle to watch out for in this point of the race. So we'll return to that in due course. But yeah, Mandula, as you said, Pete, he really does surprise. Like you think, okay, that's him, that's his peak, but he manages to exceed it with his strategizing and his clean driving. And of course, the setup work is obviously suiting those needs, whereas we've seen with Arska and others, they just cannot survive those rear end slides. With the onboard now of Donny, we'll see how he compares, and I'd say he has achieved a lot in his preparations as well.
Yeah, no, he seems to be really smooth, and yeah, this is still an alive battle for the podium then, because there's only 2 seconds between Mandula and Donny, and these two have been ebbing and flowing all race long. Asker's come in the pit, so this is his second pit stop, which means he could do it. He could do it in a 3-stop, Owen.
Yeah, it'd be a real tall tale now. He's going to be lapped a few times at this stage, so he could technically get a 2-stopper from here, but he'd have to be lapped. But yeah, the pit crew will be changing those tires post haste.
Well, he's going to get a very nice bill from his team at the end of the race when he realises how much tyres cost. Anyway, Mandula, P3, he's currently... he's being reeled in slightly by Donny here. The gap down to just over 2 seconds on the timing line. We have a battle for the podium, even though the top 2 have disappeared. 38 seconds the gap between P3 and P1 after Upsas's double trip through the pit lane. Koivunen in the pit lane. Here we go.
Yeah, so World Class Lions, their primary hope now will be Koivunen himself or Jari Katila, who's still out running. But Jari will now inherit the 10th place. This is a I think well-timed stop, yeah, right on the clutch of 14.74, refuel and setup alterations.
Yeah, lots of drivers making in-race setup adjustments, which we don't tend to see unless you're changing tyres during something like BF1 League. But there we are. Climb's currently P11. He's having a lonely race currently. He's in a bit of a bubble. He's got a 7-second gap ahead and a 2 or so second gap behind to Pekka Koivunen, who's just leaving the pit lane now. So that battle might get spicy once again. Lorenzo, if his e-challenge drama wasn't enough in round 1, he's going to have some more drama here with his tyres, and we're probably going to see some smoke. Are we? No. He's having some heat, not heat problems, some wear problems with his camber. He's at risk of actually burning through the carcass of the tyre, Owen.
Yeah, that's an unusual one. Like the front tires don't seem to be the tipping point for these cars, but Lorenzo, unless he can just walk it back a little bit, yeah, that's not a good example, I'm afraid. The braking zone into the final hairpin, but yeah, if he can't manage to walk it back, he will hit the threatening of a puncture.
Well, those sorts of punctures are usually reserved for GT racing when we see drivers pushing their tyres to the absolute limit. We don't tend to see it during an hour and a bit race. As we return to Upsas, who's kind of trying to work his way back through the pack now after his drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He has 5 seconds to catch up to the back of Donny, who himself is only a second and a half now behind Mandula. So the battle for third really is starting to get close, and we could be back into excitement territory with a move potentially from the Iron Driver.
Yeah, this will be a fantastic plot line for this race. The vacancy of the podium spot, for the moment anyway, it will really bring out the best in these two.
Thanks everyone for joining us. This is Mod Racing in Live for Speed in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large 2022, Season 1, Round number 2, with the Acosta Starlin mod by Flame CZE, as we see Mandula going very wide, Owen, and Miika. That's going to allow Donny to catch up. Miika, you've driven against these guys in RTFR, and I bet. Well, what do you reckon? Would you prefer to be out there driving this thing, or would you prefer to be watching it like you are now?
Well, I got to say, for the difficulty, I'm really glad I'm watching it here. It's like very pleasing to watch.
News just in: Lorenzo has a puncture, Miika. So that car is coming in the pit lane. It was that close to being a puncture. It's happened within 24 laps.
That was quick.
Possibly. Yeah, very quick. Very
Lorenzo
quick.
must be running quite different setup compared to anyone else, because no one else is having problems with their front tires. It's the rear tires for like everyone else. Yeah, his setup must be like very unique on this track.
I thought for a moment he wasn't going to come into pit lane. He didn't take the full pit lane. I thought he was going to carry on round, but there we are. He has come into the pit lane to replace his tyres. So pit stops and replacing tyres is a theme, and I like it.
Yeah, it's brought a different flavour to RTFR. But yeah, if people could drop the score, I'd say they would vote to do it. They don't want this in their championship records, apart from obviously our top 14 runners still going. Yeah, long stop on the cards for Lorenzo. He'll be more laps down, at least 2 laps down for the moment, and it could be more.
We watch from the rear view of Mandula, the race green driver's car, as he is at risk of losing his well-earned podium at the moment by Iron Donny, who has just appeared looming large there with his massive array of headlamps that he's got on his car, even though it's broad daylight.
It's all fashion, Pete. It makes your car look good. Like the racing stripes. Go faster.
If you say so, Owen, if you say so. 26 laps completed for our drivers at the end of this one. And we're still going to see some pit stops for tyres in this race, I tell you. A lot of the drivers struggling with flat spots, puffs of smoke, as we see Donny thinking about a lunge, but not going for it in that occasion.
That's as close as it's been in this contest so far. and I think Donny is really feeling. He's got the handle of the car now, and Mandula will really see his capabilities heading into the bus stop. We'll know for sure if something is not to his specification, but actually that's okay. I just think Donny's having a better go in this halfway sort of period of the race.
Yeah, Donny's been catching up quite well on the last few laps, and I wonder if he's gonna get a go very soon. And yeah, Climbs is coming to pits, so Koivunen has got past him, and we'll see if Climbs will have a good pit stop there. Meanwhile, these two guys are still going on each other. I wonder if Donny's he might be quite too far for now. But I have to see for the main straight if he's gonna get a go on for the second corner here.
And do that
Deep down
again,
in the last
slightly
corner.
wide, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the exit now. I think Mandela's got a bit better exit here, seems like. So it's hard to catch up here.
Yeah, so Donny, while he's been pushing and catching up, has actually hurt his tyres a little bit, so he's struggling slightly. These two still glued together. In the background, that is... Who is that in the background? Coming through. Couldn't quite catch it. It's Upsas. So Upsas is getting there to the back of these two. We could see a three-way fight for the podium very soon, boys.
Yeah, Donny is
go
really
ahead,
putting on the pressure. Yeah, go ahead, Miika.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying that considering the speed that Upsas had, like, very start of the race, he had a very good pace, so I bet he's gonna catch up and we're gonna have a good three-way battle out here.
Donny and Mandula have yet to stop as well, so the podium is unlikely to go to either of them with Upsas there. He's already been through the pits. Lagutskas and Fatal yet to stop as well. So we could see some frantic pit lane action towards the end of the race. But this battle is going to carry on till the end, I think, between Donny and Mandula at this rate. But how easily
Upsas on the scene.
can Upsas get through? Yeah, exactly. Yari has come into the pit lane. Pekka Koivunen has gone through.
Oh, nicely timed there. 10.22 refuel stop for Jari Kitila. That'll keep him ahead of Texas as long as he gets no penalties. Yeah, he should be fine. But now this is Donny's real opportunity. He knows if he doesn't get it done this time then Upsas will stomp his authority and put these two under pressure. As Mandula decides to pit. He's taking to the pit lane. Good call, I think.
Yeah, good call before it started to get frantic. So just get out there, get your pit stop done, and then resume and see where you end up. Because Donny is now going to be left to decide what he wants to do with Upsas. Upsas is on a different strategy, already pitted. Donny yet to stop. Fuel only for Mandula, and the pit stop was legal.
Yeah, that's a seal of confidence. A 10.11 second stop. Yeah, Mandula is feeling very comfortable in the setup, and he can carry on, hopefully, to the end now.
Here we will see, hopefully, Upsas resume his podium position cleanly. Donny does not need to battle him. He's in a different race, but doesn't necessarily mean he knows that. He doesn't necessarily mean he's been paying attention to who stopped around him. So maybe he'll just fight for all it's worth and try and keep this position now that he's earned it with Mandula flying into the pit lane. Of course, he is still in that battle with Mandula.
Race leader pits, yeah. Race leader pits.
Good call, Owen. This will potentially allow Fatal to take over the lead as Fatal decides to come into pit lane too. I wonder why at this point. Didn't fancy leading a lap. And Vitauskas Lagutskas pulls away just ahead. So 10.10 for Lagutskas. What will Fatal manage? That's how close. Well, that's what the gap was. It was literally 10 seconds as they came in, as they left the pit lane without overtaking one another.
Fatal gets a 10.26 in response, so he will have lost out anyway.
Donny comes in. Fatal gets past. Upsas gets past, and Upsas now can chase down Santu Sarah and Lagutskas. Fatal's only just leaving the pit lane, Owen, so this could be fairly close with this.
Yeah, there is a shootout to the end here. Upsas, if he can carry on the form that saw him compete for the race lead before the pit stops and the drive-to penalty that knocked him down a peg. Yeah, we'll see if Fatal has the repertoire to keep himself in second where he started the race.
Thamuli's gone through on Donny, so you'll be pleased to hear about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's not pitted it, as I'm aware.
Mandula's back, but he's back behind Donny. They were side by side out of the pits, but Mandula not able to keep the car ahead. So Donny has made that move. He's made the overcut, which is a weird one. Doesn't normally work. But on this occasion, it has worked for Donny. So staying out longer has helped him.
Yeah, and the frustration I'm sure Mandula will be feeling, if he can just channel that to one side for a little while, then he can possibly gain his position back. But yeah, I do think Donny has done very well so far.
Mooley and Rony yet to stop. I think everybody else has been in and out. And it's a straight fight again, once again, between Iron, Donny and Mandula. But this time for P6, it will become P5 when Thamuli, who just flew past shot there, comes into the pit lane. "13 laps to go after this one, gents, as we watch Sidus Unite, who's currently in no man's land at the moment. He's 9.2 seconds behind Upsas and a whopping 15 or so ahead of Thamuli, and that gap's going to go up again when Thamuli comes into the pit lane. So Unite's going to have a lonely one. He's just going to be having fun with the car, I think.
Yeah, it feels that way. He's done what he can, but again, the pit stop, he'll probably have to make another one actually. So it's just how far he can go in the race, and make sure he keeps to the 10-second mandatory rule. So yeah, I'd say Unite just needs to pull out a safe gap over the rest of the top 10, and then he'll be satisfied with that.
Oh, and right on cue, our resident friendly neighborhood rubber muncher, Asker, kicks up a load of smoke going through turn number 1. How far into his third stint is he, Eoin?
I think it's another 10 laps. If it was lap 8 and lap 18 or lap 20, yeah, 8, 20, and now it's another 10 lap.
No, it's another. Well, he's done better this stint, but he's due a stop, isn't he, at this point?
Yeah, so he's 3 laps down at least. Yeah.
I can't believe we're actually trying to work out the stint plan of Asker's race. This is a joke, but quite entertaining. As we switch back to Lagutskas, who is still he's on strategy. He's made 1 stop, which is what we expected from most cars. Asker already having completed double the quota for pit stops he had to serve because his car was undrivable. But fair play, he's still in the race for our amusement. Fatal, he's doing a good job. 13 seconds off the lead currently, but crucially, 5 seconds ahead of Upsas still.
Yeah, it's so valuable for Fatal to have a little bit of a cushion. He knows what he has to do. Lap traffic isn't particularly far away.
Lorenzo.
Yeah, Lorenzo and Yari Katila. So Texas isn't far away for position. His difficult start to the race. He's made up for it as best he can here, and if he can sense this opportunity, he'll be in the top 10 all of a sudden.
Yeah, we absolutely didn't focus on this enough, did we? Because Texas was right down at the back, and he's already made 3 places, and it's about to become 4. Miika, battling from the back is difficult in any race, especially one where the car is trying to kill you.
Yeah, indeed. And if there's going to be any bullet flags, of course, it's going to make it more harder as Texas is going for a pass. But Katila is braking a little late, but it's going too late, and Tech's going past on the last turn here. That's a nice move.
Both got to worry about Fatal behind as well. But yeah, that was a nice move. I think again, Yari getting slightly spooked on the brakes into the hairpin. That's the second time we've seen that in not too many laps. Another place for Texas, and importantly, a top 10.
Yeah, Donny is closing up to Harmon, and I wonder if they're gonna race a bit here. If the Harmon is gonna keep wise about this, because he knows he's not pitted yet, and Donny has got more pace.
Yeah, he's going to race.
He's gonna fight too much against him, or if he's actually gonna pit soon. Well, not this lap yet, at least. But maybe we'll see a little bit of fight here, just defending against Donny. As they close into the first corner here, it's tight turn for this car, and Donny's keeping so close behind here. And is he going for the inside? No. Donny's being so calm about this.
Yeah, he is. There's no need for these two to be fighting, but they're just having a bit of fun. Of course, Donny wants to try and open that gap as much as he can to Mandula, because those two are in a fight. Donny trying to get underneath the back of Thamuli's car. I don't know if you saw the screenshots during the early days of this mod being developed, but there was a bit of trouble with the hitbox, as far as I'm aware. And if you rear-ended the car, you could pick up the rear wheels with the nose, so that could be entertaining if that bug was still here. But I think Martin has sorted that out in his Acosta Starlin mod.
Well, I do hope so. It could
Yes.
result in some weird cases otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very tight battle between these two. I would guess Donny could get past easier, but seems like he's having trouble finding those places to go around on other cars. Even though he's having really good pace otherwise on his own. Meanwhile, Mandla seems to be catching up a little, if I'm not completely wrong here.
Yeah, Donny needs to find a way past. I reckon Thamuli is going to come in the pit lane soon. There's only 10 laps to go after this one. It goes a bit deep. That's going to give Donny another move. But this happened last lap. This is a carbon copy of what happened the lap before. Will Thamuli decide to pit now? Well, Miika knows best. They are related.
Well, I don't have any insight for his strategy right now. But seems like he's still going out. I guess he's leaving out in very last laps on the pit stop.
Oh, contact.
Oh, he's sliding a little bit up there.
Okay, there wasn't contact. It was something else. Just some slide. And
Donny... now he's going to win. Donny's going to pass easily this one.
Well, thanks for providing the entertainment.
Good effort here.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a brilliant set of commentary, but Arska has had more calamities with his tires. He's thankfully spotted the blue flags for a race leader and stayed stationary just before the motorway blended, so he can.
Here we go. Third
slides.
pit stop during XL. This has got to be a record. This is 10th lap of his stint. This has got to be some sort of record in XL. Is he going to? Oh no, he's still going. I thought he might have bought. I think he's going to wait for some traffic. I'm not sure what's going on here. He's keeping out of the way of traffic, which is more than could be said for some people during some series. But yeah, that's going to be some sort of record, surely. We'll have to talk to Rony afterwards. Needing to pit that many times for tyres is an unusual one.
Yeah, it's almost certainly a record. You would have had to have a serious miscalculation in previous years to have to pit 3 times. So here we go. Arska just hangs on, avoids breaking the speed limit, and hopefully this is the end of his escapades.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's still 10 laps to go.
It's gonna be...
Another 10 laps. I guess Rony might have something to say about that. I mean, I got warning once myself when we were racing Raceabout against the oval, and I kept spinning too much. Even though I didn't cause any actual danger, but I just couldn't handle the car enough, so Rony gave me a fair little warning there.
Oh dear. Well, at least Oscar is trying to finish the race, which is more than can be said for some people, so fair play. I'm just not sure that this is the achievement that Asker wanted to have in this race, making it a 3-stop rather than a 4-stop. But there we are. You've got to look at every cloud, and try and aim for something. Here is Santu Sara climbing the hill, P2 currently, with Upsas bearing down on him, as you can see in the background in the bright orange machine. This would be the fight for P2, and it could be happening fairly soon, boys, because this gap has been coming steadily down over the last few laps. Now, Upsas, of course, he had that drive-through, so Fatal will really want to hang on as much as he can to this.
Yeah, I really hope we see that battle.
Yeah,
and we should, because
Fatal's morale just to get that podium. He had that difficult start. He lost positions, but he's clawed them all back.
Yeah, Upsas is doing a great job himself after that drive-through penalty and everything. He's still catching up to the second place. It's a really awesome drive from him.
Yeah, a podium would be a good result considering he had a drive-through and a tricky car, tricky race. But yeah, he's not finished, and Fatal and Upsas both hungry for podiums in this series, of course. So we will see what happens. There's still anything can happen. 1.7 seconds the gap as Upsas climbs this famous hill, a fantastic circuit, South City in Need for Speed, about to get a big overhaul. It will be somewhat sad to see the old guise of it go away, but we're all very excited for the new version. This version of South City has had a very long stint, will be forever remembered, of course. But yeah, like I said, we cannot wait for the new updates that are coming to Live for Speed, including day and night, and a revamped South City. Good stuff coming, hopefully. Down to 1.2 seconds as he goes onto the highway, the back straight, and the rear end of that Sim Broadcast birthday livery, the Fragmaster car for this round, is looming large.
You can just see it now behind that rear view mirror. And Fatal, he knew what he had to do in this stint, but it's still within his control. There are one or two things left that he can do, but otherwise it could come down to the wheel on wheel battle to decide second place for this evening.
Yeah, well, Miika hasn't seen enough carnage. He wants this battle to happen quickly today, clearly. But yeah, I'm always up for a battle, for a podium. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. Unite is quite a long way back, 14 seconds. These guys do not really need to worry about Unite. He's a bit far out of this one. So yeah, gloves off. Let's see it.
Yeah, I mean, we have two really fast drivers here, and if we're gonna see a battle between them, it's gonna be epic for sure, especially with this car on this track. And it's going swarming all around.
Yeah, but we are running out of laps. These guys need to catch up, or Upsas need to catch up if we're going to have that battle. He's still managing. He's still managing the tyres, managing the tyre heat. You can hear him modulating the throttle as he heads up the hill once again. Fatal doing a good job. You can't deny it. 1.4. The gap has gone up on this lap.
Yeah, Fatal's pace is very good as well. I'm just hoping that the Upsas is gonna catch up, which seems possible, but it's gonna be like very two last laps or something. Well, it's yet to see how it turns out.
Yeah, it could come down to the wire. Oh, and this is certainly one of the most memorable XL races I've had in recent years.
Yeah, it's almost the glass ceiling of difficulty has been broken today. A lot of drivers not able or just couldn't find the right setup to suit them, so they've had extreme struggles or they couldn't finish. But the drivers that are still going, and of course our contenders for the victory, are all looking very, very strong. So I wonder what on earth could actually stop them, as Fatal has actually responded with a fast lap of his own. Bit of a wiggle there out of turn one, but yeah, trading the fastest laps in this battle for the silver medal.
Fabulous stuff. He really is pushing. You can tell how much he's pushing by how much the car is squirming around. He really wants this second place. He really, really wants to take it away from Upsas, and I don't blame him. But it's going to be a tall order because Upsas, even though he doesn't have the outright pace at the moment is still more consistent, it seems, just at this time in this moment in time. Further back, as I mentioned before, Unite is in a pretty solid P4. Donny P5, P6 goes to Mandula at the moment with 4 seconds between them. So Donny has been able to open up that gap ever so slightly over the last few laps, but he's way too far back from Sidus Unite to take any points away from him there, unless an error befalls our friend in pink. Thamuli, Miika's teammate and relative, at P7. He's a minute behind the leader, but still within a striking distance of Mandula.
Yeah, but has he pitted yet?
Oh, maybe not. Actually, no, he hasn't come in the pit lane. So yeah, you're right. He will probably drop fairly further down. Him and Rony yet to pit. Rony probably come out behind Pekka Koivunen. They really might be lucky and come out ahead of Koivunen. It would be close though.
Yeah, the Hamley used to be ahead of Pekka Koivunen before Koivunen took his pit, so it's going to be a close call. There was a second between them before the pit. But not quite sure how long it takes in total to go through the pits and have the 10-second stop there. We might have another tight battle there on the end.
Yeah, the pit lane, it goes on for quite a long time. It goes practically through the entire start-finish straight and then merges back onto the track before turn 2. So yeah, it could be nearly a minute in the pits, given you've got to really slow down the car in the first place. Otherwise you get the speeding penalties.
Yeah, it's probably about 25 seconds or 30 seconds or something to do a pit stop here. We'll see. But I think, yeah, he'll be safe just ahead of Pekka Koivunen when he resumes. This battle is starting to heat up. The car of Fatal definitely closer. I think Upsas, he's really pushing now. You can see the rear of the car stepping out as he climbs the hill again. He really wants this place, and he knows he's running out of laps. He has to spend the tyres. He has to get the position and then defend. Great apex that. This is a great looking car when it's on the edge.
Yeah, you can see Upsas really going for it right now. He even touched the wall there on the little straight. He's driving on his very limit there, and maybe he can catch up to Fatal.
Yeah, Fatal is also on the limit, else he wouldn't be able to keep ahead. And he's not just keeping ahead; he's holding the gap steady. That is exactly what he needs to do. Upsas with a slightly better apex, able to get the car under control and back down to the apex. Super tricky in so many cars, but clearly an absolute handful in the Acosta Starlin. Go and try this mod if you have S3 and LFS, and if you don't have S3, well, what are you doing? Go and grab an S3 license from the LFS shop and give this mod a go. It looks like a great little bit of fun as Upsas retakes that fastest lap.
Yeah, mesmerizing performances by the two drivers there. Putting the real heat on each other just makes them better. Turning rocks into diamonds, I suppose. So yeah, we'll see if there's one last twist in the tail.
Yeah, a little bit wide, you can see he's struggling. Sorry, go ahead, Miika.
Yeah, we're starting to see like Upsas is obviously steering into some corners here. It's the same thing that some people did in the qualifying, which I would believe in like normal long race distance is not a good idea because it will kill the rear tires, but we're closing onto the end, so maybe Upsas is just taking everything out of his car and trying to take every tenth of the lap he can in any way.
Yeah, he needs to push. Now is the time to push. He's running out of laps. We have 4 to go after this one, and yeah, it might not be enough. Let's see. Can he close down this gap? This is the only real intrigue we have left at the end of this race, other than potentially where Thamuli comes out in relation to Pekka Koivunen, and everything else is pretty much set. Although never say never. Unite, yeah, he's on his own.
Yeah, these two will be catching up to Arska soon. Otherwise, that's about the last obstacle in their way, apart from one another. So, yeah, this will go right to the end.
Yeah, well, at least Arskas has done very good job, like keeping out of the way, even though he's like been playing around, drifting around, and all sorts of things.
That's absolutely right, Miika,
yeah, but he's not bothered any of the faster drivers here. it seems all the time that Upsis is closer and closer, but you know, it's the clock that tells the real story about this. If he's actually any closer or not.
Yeah, just the fine margins. It's so tricky to tell from the naked eye about how close someone is. You really do need those data center or the data to be presented to you. There you go. There's Arska cleared out of the way. So the gap remains 1.1 seconds between Fatal and Upsas. Every centimeter will count now. Just gotta hang on in there for the final stretch. So far, so good for Fatal's point of view, but if it gets down to half a second, then there's very much the potential for the big counter slide there for Fatal out of turn 10, I believe, or turn 12, I beg your pardon. He's held it, so we'll see. Yeah, the gap actually increased through sector 2, and now they'll be heading down to the final few corners.
Yeah, at this stage, the rear tires are. Oh, Rony's in the pits right now. He's gonna. Oh, he's missed the box. I bet he's gonna take the careful 10 seconds. He's not gonna have too little pit stop on his own race, I would assume. 10.15 is what I hear, and he's completed the pit stop.
Yeah, he's nailed that one. Texas is not going to catch up to Rony, unfortunately, for his point of view. So Rony just lost one position between his pit stops. So Koivunen gains 8th place. I think this is Upsas's best chance as Fatal taps the wall out of turn 4. It's now 0.8 of a second. That's shrinking now. Fatal is feeling the heat.
He's getting very close here.
Yeah, this is an enormous opportunity for Upsas with the last remaining kilometers to go. Not at all long left.
Oh, he's so close now. Hey? I wonder if he's gonna give any dive into the corner, or like maybe on the last hairpin after the highway part.
Yeah, you'd have to set it up on the final lap, in my opinion, Miika. It would be too foolhardy to make it now, especially with this gap.
He's a bit too far still.
Yes. So you can get it slow down 50 miles an hour using a smidgen of the handbrake. Yeah.
He's taking very carefully there in the middle of the corner.
Right,
Seems to have got a good drive out of the corner though.
Yeah, it's formidable for Fatal, but Upsas doing that a little bit more in this lap. The gap is now half a second. Fatal knows that anything could happen any time here, so he's just got to filter that out and just push until the very, very end.
Yeah, he needs to concentrate on his own driving rather than driving from the mirrors. Of course, he has to keep in mind if Upsis is gonna take any moves, but he's just needs to keep on his best pace that he can.
Yeah, the bus stop will neutralize Upsas's progress just a bit. You can see now Upsas prefers that corner a lot more to Fatal, and the gap is coming down a bit more, so this could be the tipping point. Upsas won't be able to get side by side by the hairpin apex's arrival, but you can certainly put the nose into Fatal's personal space and really say, yeah, I'm ready for this showdown.
Yeah, he's making Fatal know that he is right there. He can attack any time, any point.
Another smack of the wall from Fatal, but he actually put it back to half a second. It was
still got a good, decent speed up on the straight.
Yeah, he's gained a few extra miles per hour. And with the final lap for our race leader coming up, this is the essential battle for your viewing pleasure. We can see now Fatal is just going to negotiate that turn 15 kink and get on the power one last time around South City.
Yeah, well, at least we got the final lap. Sure that here. It's gonna be anyone's game here. They are so close each other.
Yeah, exactly
they're
right.
drifting so much to the first corner. Nopsis is just taking the inside line a bit more. I wonder in the bus stop area, like last lap, Upsis was almost like side to side at some point, but is he gonna be close enough right now? It's gonna be quite tight.
I don't think
turn
this time now. Fatal actually really cuts the wall fine there, and he manages the double apex neatly. So Upsas's final opportunity is going to come at turn 14, or actually maybe this is it. Miika, what do you think?
I don't know. It's really anyone's game. It's if anyone's gonna make a mistake, that's gonna cost everything. They just need to avoid everything. Fatal has a very interesting line on this corner. Upsis is taking from outside. He's right on the
he's left the
he's
door
going
open
inside.
this time. Oh, Fatal says no, thank you. We're gonna have to focus all the way now. This is Upsas's last opportunity, and it's his best one. He's got slipstream coming now.
He's so close. He can get side to side on the straight, on the braking.
Yeah,
he's
but
going
this corner,
outside.
You've got to stay on the apex, or else you're going to be in trouble with the understeer.
Yeah.
Can Fatal use the
handbrake? Brake enough. Oh,
yes.
He tried to go inside, but Fatal stopped.
Yeah, but Leguskas celebrates over the line. He's got the victory in
drifting
hand.
Over the line.
Brilliant drive, and he's going to cross the line now. There are several start finish.
Fatal is going to be second here. Yeah. He was able to defend there against Upsis. That was a really great battle on the final lap here.
A stellar contest between two amazing drivers, but it goes to show Leguskas finishing 8 seconds clear of them. That is a real dominant show. We're going to now wait for the Sidus Unite charger. He's actually going to pit again. He's waited to the last lap to take that pit stop he was due to take. And because the start-finish line is way, way up the road, he can actually pull this off a la Michael Schumacher. So there we go. He's going to.
The Hamel is still 7th, so I don't know if he's pitted yet. At least, maybe he needs to come to the pit as well on the last lap. Oh, he has pitted, so yeah. So everyone's pitted. Everything's going fine. We're just running down the order, waiting for everyone to finish out here.
So Donny gets 5th place. Mandula will be classified 6th. And the Hifmuli is going to romp home in a very impressive 7th. Arska, we're just waiting to see if he can complete his strategy without popping his tires. I think he'll be okay. There we go. That should
there we go.
Shuffle the order
that was an interesting race for Arska, but he managed it. He finished the race.
Yeah, there's the Hifmuli.
Yeah, the Hamel and Koivunen running up there.
And now we have our full classification there. 8 drivers finishing on the lead lap out of the 14 who managed to overcome this mountain of a motor vehicle and survive South City.
Yeah, that was a lot of cars, like having to stop the race for a reason or another. Many DNFs we have here. We have much more than 20 starting the race, but only 14 finishing.
Yeah, we'll get a breakdown of exactly how many drivers began the race and how many of them retired early. But let's begin the rundown, starting with the victorious Vytautas Leguskas, achieving his triumph in 1 hour, 17 minutes, 21 seconds. Fatal and Upsas only separated by a feather, really. It was so close, but Fatal managed to get the job done. Sidus Unite in P4 felt probably light years behind them, but yeah, he'll be happy that his race ended, and it was a 4th place, so it could have been worse. Iron Donny, another superb showing. He was 53 seconds behind. Then we have Mandula, the Hifmuli, and Koivunen finishing on the lead lap. Rony ran a long stint. He pulled off a 9th place, and then Texas in 10th, followed by Jari Katila, Lorenzo, Climbs, and then the daredevil of the race, Arska, was classified 14th, 4 laps down. The DNFs were Redbot, Soini, TJ, Kig, Michael, and Tallenberg between Ps 15 and 20. And then Mazway, Twin Cam, and Zaban all got declassified as well. So Twin Cam barely got to complete a lap. I remember that he rolled in an unavoidable accident. So yeah, Miika, any observations from your end?
Well, it was very exciting, very nice race, as we expected from the difficulty of the car on this very hard track, narrow track. It was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. We were very lucky that we didn't have to put up with that ordeal. The brand new car, it did prove to be an enormous handful for our racers today. But yeah, the championship has definitely taken a new twist. Upsas was he was leading the way after the first round, but Leguskas, who finished 4th at West Hill, the custom layout, he now has a great chance to lead both championships in RTF4, and then Fatal as well, another very strong result. So plenty to observe here on Twitch and YouTube. But that will conclude the runnings for today. We've had Peter Butcher and Chris McElroy, but it's been myself, Owen Harmon, and Miika Särkkinen providing today's broadcast. So we thank you very much for tuning in, and so long, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.